Welcome. That was a direct flight from Brazil. You flew from Chiang Mai to Brazil. Welcome, Lynn.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And Rupanuga Prabhu also. Radha Sundari Didi. Where are you now, Rupanuga Prabhu?
Hi, I'm Newcastle in Australia, right opposite London.
Okay.
I'm cleaning up my house to move out, so I'll probably be off video, but I'll be listening.
Very good. Very good. How's your book going?
Yes, I finished it. I'm just doing the last little, probably I've only got a few hours to go before I have to publish it. So it's very good. I'm very happy about that. It's just finding the time now. I'm back to do it. But I did most of it in Thailand, so that was good.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very
it's called
good.
the way. It's the way of the herbal warrior and my life experiences, and yeah, I like it. So, and everybody who's read it likes it. Yeah.
And will you have it available as on Amazon or something?
Yes,
okay.
That's what I'm planning to do, but it might take a little while for that to happen. But that's my plan.
Very good.
Yeah.
We look forward to reading it.
Good. Thank you.
And Premasindhu Prabhu. Is that Premasindhu or Maturavasini? We have to guess. Maybe Maharaj has a little bit of problem with the connection. Because for him, 3 minutes late is just like, what? Impossible. Narottam Ditai, welcome. I haven't seen you for a few days. And Sevarupa Didi is so early for her. It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Dandavad.
Dhanavad.
So apologies for my camera being off, but we've got power outages here.
No problem.
Thank you.
And Lila Moy Prabhu, do you already recognize this temple?
No, I'm not so sure.
It starts with G.
Ah, okay.
Ends with N.
Govardhan.
Yay! It's a beautiful temple. And now there is a samadhi. And for Srila Gurudev, and it's just like the sweetest place to be. The sweetest place. Dada Sundari, are you in Mayapur?
Dandavad, Praneshwari, Dandavad,
Dandavad.
dear devotees. Yes, in Mayapur.
So nice. So nice.
Sorry. Padma is still sleeping.
And okay, welcome. Are you still in Florida?
Yes, I am. Are you?
Very good, very good. Happy that you're always here, always trying to get these nourishing talks of Srila Bhaktiranjan Madhusudan Maharaj.
I'm
So
so
important.
grateful. I'm so grateful to be here. So grateful.
Earlier today, in our Brazilian gathering, he was having problems with his connection too. I don't know what's happened.
Let me check the phone then.
Yeah.
Yes, he must have some issue. Raja Sundari, welcome.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Jai Hare Krishna.
Jai Jai.
Yes, no connection. And not on WhatsApp either. Paramananda Prabhu, Hare Krishna. I think Maharaj has problems with his connection and he's not on WhatsApp either.
Give him a few more minutes. It happens sometime. Just let's wait for a while.
Oh yes, we
In
can
the
wait
meantime,
for a whole life.
maybe Lila Moy can say the prayers. And Dandavats told the assembled Vaishnavas.
Dhanavad.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Let's try. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ravita Sahagana Ragnatam Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha Om Gyanatimrandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Jana Dasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Anchakalpataruvescha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Om Gyanatimrandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Yakshuram Militanjana Dasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Mahavandanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namme Gaura Trise Namaha Vaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vashari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Praneshwari Didi, now the microphone goes to you. You're again our MC.
Maharaj is connecting soon. He replied on WhatsApp.
Good.
So everything is well, no problem. Very good. Today in my memory is so bad that I had to write everything, otherwise I forget it so easily. But I want to share that today in Bhakti Yoga for All, Paramananda Prabhu was explaining the beautiful song Vaishnava Ke, who is a Vaishnava. And in the commentary, he mentioned these two words, constant adjustment. And that is so necessary in our life. We really need to put those glasses, constant adjustment. Paramananda Prabhu, can you please expand a little bit on that constant adjustment?
Well, it was actually beautifully explained by Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev, and by their not just talks and teachings, but also life example. Especially with dealings with us, the Western section of the devotees. They needed a lot of adjustment, and in case of Srila Govinda Maharaj, constant adjustment. Because some things, sometimes there was exchange I heard from Srila Goswami Maharaj. Something that couldn't even be digested even by them, what they have seen, but yet tolerating and adjusting and giving their grace, giving their mercy. Here's Srila Bhakti Madhusudan Maharaj. Somewhere in unknown location, probably with very bad internet connection. So let's give it a few minutes. Probably Maharaj is traveling.
Please continue.
There is Maharaj present in his sound.
Please continue. With all the mobile networks are not working, so I've had to.
Oh, we can hear you well, Maharaj.
Come through to the network.
He's saying, please continue, Paramananda Prabhu.
But anyhow, that theme came up after your question, Praneshwari. How to see everything related to Krishna. Like some things are not necessary. Externally look positive, like you were saying. What if I see some strange people, some imitationists, sahajya, doing certain things that we're not supposed to see, we're not practicing, even abominable, how to see that in a positive light. So that came up. And we can see it in a positive light as a good example of what not to do, a good reminder to us what we should stay away. In that case, we can consider them to be, in a certain way, a messenger of Krishna, the environment that is teaching us a lesson, what not to do. Because we all have these tendencies. And this tendency has been suppressed by the power of the Vaishnava association, by the power of the sadhu, by their influence. They're giving us chakudan, dilajay, janmi Prabhu. We're praying for that. Please give us a proper vision. Give us the eyes to see, proper set of eyes to see. That's our prayer to the Vaishnava. Otherwise, we are blind, completely blind. We cannot see anything on our own. But by the grace of the devotees, by receiving that divine vision, we're seeing things as they are and not as they're presented by the external energy of the Lord, Mahamaya. So that is important. Okay, Braja Sundari is saying that's the whole of Bila Govinda. Something happened at Bila Govinda. Let me see. But okay, yes, something happened. See, something new happens in the world every day.
Constant adjustment.
Yes, I just received some disturbing news from Russian side too, and really, what can we do? We have to adjust.
Oh, he's coming here again, maybe with a different connection.
Is he already there?
Connecting.
Okay. Oh yes, now we can see and we can probably hear too.
And welcome, Vrindavaneshwari from Brazil.
Is Maharaj successful? I cannot see him. Oh, there he.
No, the camera is off now. He's having problem to connect. No microphone yet.
And we read at the end of our talk today, we saw this beautiful message by Srila Guru Maharaj. I better read that. Saying, try to adjust yourself with the environment because you're not the master of the environment. All your energy should be devoted to regulating yourself, not the outside world. Srila Bhakti Rakak Radhadev Goswami Maharaj. And then naturally, like we said today, we would ask, how is that possible? We have no qualification. And Srila Govinda Maharaj here says under his photograph, everything is possible by the grace of Srila Guru Maharaj. So really, otherwise, it's absolutely impossible. What we are aspiring for impossible, even though it's our. We hear that. Krishnadas Goswami points out, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhu Kabunoi Shavanadi Shuddha Chitta Karayodo. It's there already built in, but it has to be awakened. But how is it awakened? By Sadhu Sangha. Then one day, you will feel the real world, the real feeling, the feeling, the love for Krishna. Really, this is the feeling. This is what we're living for. And it belongs to the nature of the soul. So that was the advice of Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Govinda Maharaj. Adjusting to the environment, and how to do that? By the grace of the Vaishnava, by the grace of the Guru, by the grace of our Guru Varga. Everything will become possible. And we also should remember Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's words, where he is saying that the most difficult things become, in words of Govinda Maharaj, snidging matter, easy. If we remember Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, by his mercy, it will be very easy for us. We can overcome any obstacle. And in the same time, the most easy things in this world can be extremely difficult and impossible to overcome if we do not take shelter of Mahaprabhu, if we do not have his grace and his mercy. We should always think about it. And that's how we adjust to the environment. We connect everything with grace of Krishna. Whatever happens, we learn how to read the signs, how to see the indications all around us, what Krishna wants from us. This is a normal position, natural position of the Vaishnava. What Krishna wants from me is the question Vaishnava wakes up with and goes to sleep with. How can I serve? What do you want from me? How can I serve? What do you want from me? And they open their heart to receive the guidance too. They're very careful. And in that naturally comes a proper vision of the Vaishnavas, because how Krishna will send me a sign or give me indication, his most preferable method is through his devotees. So he will send a devotee to guide. So if we do not see devotion in devotees, then how can we get that message? We're praying for every day. We're chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We're praying for that. We're praying for guidance. We're praying for grace. We're praying for service, for mercy. But if we do not have a proper set of eyes to see and recognize the devotion around, in the devotees surrounding us, then we will commit Vaishnava aparadha. And then our gardening will not be successful. So for proper gardening, follow the advice of sadhus, follow the advice of the scriptures. Take the shelter of the Vaishnavas, take the shelter of the holy name. Let it be the water and the medicine for us to get healthy. Serve the Vaishnavas, stay in their association, and then everything will come naturally. The Kripa will be very healthy. Avoid the Vaishnava aparadha. Number one rule, avoid the Vaishnava aparadha at any cost, however small, medium or big. And God save us from big ones and medium, actually from all of them. But we're imperfect, what can we do? Small things. Not easy to make. That's Vaishnava aparadha. Small things will be forgiven. How is Maharaj there?
No, he couldn't.
Oh, there
He's
he
coming
is.
back. He's coming back.
What is happening?
What's happening? I thought the world as we know it is coming to an end because I have two mobile internet connections. They both don't work. The internet in Gurudev's room doesn't work. And I have to come through here to the front, to the office, and I had to get the password and all these things for the internet in the office. So please excuse, I thought internet had failed and that we were back to the world of reality. Hare Krishna. Dandavat, please excuse, dear devotees.
Dandavat Maharaj.
So I'm using the mobile phone, and I'll have to look to see who's with us all, but I'm using the mobile phone and adjusting to the environment. And I think that's one thing that Paramananda was helping us to understand a few moments ago. Adjusting to the environment. Oh, I've got to speak quietly too. I've got the headphones on.
Don't worry, let others practice some adjustment to the environment too, Maharaj.
Let others, oh, what? With making my noise and waking them up. Oh my goodness.
The Krishna Katha after all.
I may be on the receiving end of how they adjust to the environment, of course. Dear devotees,
consequences.
Excuse my lateness. Honestly, and it is honest, I was on time, everything on time, but a bit of a challenge to get connected today. So anyway, I hope this internet stays up. Here at your service, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So the little bit that I did hear just now, then I understand that. Can you hear okay, Praneshwari?
Perfectly,
Oh,
Maharaj.
okay,
Image and sound are good.
All right, I thought.
Hare Krishna. Didi, I can open the video because it said it has to stop it. Would you please let me open?
Let's check.
Govinda, Govinda.
Go.
I had to ask you to start the video.
Okay.
There you are.
Yes.
Dandavat Bhagavan Prabhu. Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. So I heard Paramananda saying some very good words, advice for us all about avoiding Vaishnava aparad and about adjusting to the environment. So that sounds like a very solid back to basics class to me. And because I've joined in the middle, I kind of would prefer you continue the theme and continue as you are, and I'm here if you can engage me along the way.
You join right in time to continue with this subject.
Continue with the subject of don't make Vaishnava aparad, or adjustment to the environment, or both.
Yes, anything you like.
Anything I like. Well, I like a lot of things, and my morning little. I had some quotes. Anyway, now my morning a little disturbed. I mean disturbed because I lost the track with having to find the internet. So. And Prabhu, you please continue, because the theme, both of these themes are exactly what we need for our basis of devotional service. And we need to rely on Krishna for everything. What can we do? We have to see through the eyes of the devotees. We need to remember Krishna, but how do we remember Krishna? Through the devotees. We need to serve Krishna. How do we serve Krishna? Through the devotees. We need to adjust to Krishna's nature. I mean, the nature which is all running under his control. And how do we do that? We make proper adjustment through the devotees. So, with
Maharaj,
the devotees.
what did you observe during your time at Srila Govinda Maharaj? Because, you know, it was very dynamic all the time. With the development of the mission, opening centers in Koikali and developing them down Parak. So many things were happening, devotees coming, and, you know, what was Gurudev's, maybe Gurudev commented something about it. Certain situations happened when he said something.
situations happen continuously, and Gurudev was continuously saying something. Prabhu, you asked me that as a general matter. Prabhu, I have a request of you. Can you just tip your camera a little bit so Srila Saraswati Thakur's head is not chopped off? Somehow, just, oh, now there's a great effulgence. Okay, there we are. And there's a great effulgence coming from Srila Saraswati Thakur's head, which is also, that's wonderful. Thank you, Prabhu. So, okay, well, that's one thing Gurudev said, not to chop off part of the arms and heads and half legs of divine personalities and the Lord himself. That is something. And so I suppose keeping that in mind, then I mentioned that. And I see, by the way, you're in Thailand, in Gurudev's room in Bangkok.
Yes, but I landed yesterday.
All right, so welcome to Thailand. And
we're receiving more mails from different devotees as of yesterday. Kum Didi brought to me. She already purchased the ticket. So the number is increasing day by day, and I'm getting worried right now. So now I need some special grace and some adjustment too. So I need a good advice.
Well, this is also the mood of Navadip, isn't it? And Srila Gurudev in Navadip, he would say, when devotees start to come for the festival, then day by day, more devotees coming. And Gurudev said that we have a very long and heavy tail, means that as what he was expressing is, as we get closer to the day, then that tail starts thin and then gets thicker. So more and more devotees to the last moment for the festivals. So this is a little bit of Navadip style with the unexpected turning up. And I can say in Navadip that before the internet and before people kind of used the internet for communication, we really only had a guess at the numbers who will come for a festival, who will come. And we would get very muddled telephone messages that had been received in Calcutta, our Calcutta temple, Dum Dum Park, because remember, our phone in Navadip in the early days was basically an antique display rather than a functioning apparatus. And I remember the first ever phone call, international phone call, that arrived in Navadip, and it was the mother of an Australian devotee who was there, phoning up to check he was okay. And the news, first of all, it was Aranya Maharaj who sent someone to call for Mahananda and the devotee. I can't remember which Australian devotee it was just now. But anyway, so calling Mahananda, so Mahananda will bring the devotee. And then the word was like immediately out, oh, there's a phone call from abroad. And so one by one, all the devotees came into where the phone is, which is what we call Hari Charan Prabhu's room, the room underneath, the front room underneath Guru Maharaj's Bhajan Kutir. And so it was an event that a phone call came.
It's a miracle.
Well, it was, but that was one phone call. And then, of course, in due course of time, then it all opened up a little bit. But we got so many of the messages of devotees coming, etc., came through Dum Dum Park, our Calcutta temple, where they were able to telephone, leave a message. But really, the messages were very unreliable because, as Krishna points out, he first gives the message to one, and then that message is passed on to another, which is passed on to another, and very quickly, and then what was given in the original message is not quite the same. So, going to meet people at the airport and who to expect, etc., was a very hit and miss arrangement. And so Srila Gurudev actually himself was quite in anxiety before a festival. And in Navadip in particular, then he was definitely very concerned with the arrangements, this, that, and the other. And it was a big relief for him when a festival has been completed successfully. And by the grace of Guru Maharaj of Krishna Mahaprabhu, by the grace of everyone, every festival, we can say, was successful. So Srila Gurudev, very concerned, personally concerned about the festivals. And he would apologize to the devotees. Oh, please excuse, we can't give you accommodation like you are used to. But the devotees coming to Navadip, the devotees really, at least in the early days, they really didn't care about facilities. Sometimes some devotees did care, I suppose. We do have that remembrance, but we forget that part of our remembrance. That sometimes devotees did care a little bit. It was quite a shock, the simplicity of life, how you can live with just a bed and no table and no drawers, no hanging cupboard to hang your things. Hare Krishna. And we even made a room. And this is, for a sweet lady who long ago now passed away, for the mother of one of our senior devotees. We had the devotees make nicely the room and did, the best room in Navadip Dham. And it was the lady's house downstairs, room number 3. It was a long room and it was just for her. And so made it, so it was as nice as possible. But when she arrived, like the very first words, but where's the wardrobe? Hare Krishna. So, but in general, I mean, the devotees, they're coming and they're very satisfied just to be, of course, that time with Guru Maharaj, with Gurudev, and to be in the association of devotees. And so it's natural to be a little concerned for the smooth running of the festival, but also it's natural the devotees will be very excusing. It won't be Vaishnava aparat. It'll be adjusting to, oh, you're preparing everyone to adjust to the environment, right? It'll be adjusting to the environment. We cannot maybe give all facility that they would want in their home, but adjusting to the environment takes place everywhere. And when we're not in our home, even to go and stay in a hotel, you have to adjust to the hotel, however luxurious it is. Where are the plug sockets? Where are this? Where are that? That we have to adjust to.
I'm just afraid, Maharaj, the bell will not ring.
Oh, the bell will ring, I'm sure. But let us try hard. Anyway, Gurudev made many comments. But I mean, what can I say? That it is in the air with, with Paramanand's arrival in Thailand, and it is in the air of that the festival is about to take place, and there's going to be a simultaneous festival because also then Srila Avadut Maharaj is going to be actually in India with quite a group of devotees, I think. So we'll be able to have some parallel keeping in touch with the holy places in India, as we are also following some virtual parikrama, and as we are also having our own, living sadhu sangha and festival in Thailand. And due to time, place, and circumstance, we felt that Thailand will be suitable this year for the devotees coming together because some natural austerity in India at this time. And Praneshri Devidasi will also be a man on the spot. She'll be going on to India afterwards. So we're looking forward to having that direct connection through the Vaishnavas who are there. Hare Krishna. But preparation for festivals takes quite a bit of doing. And for instance, for Gaura Purnima, for Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja, which was the second biggest festival. And then it became that the second biggest festival was Guru Maharaj, it was Gurudev's Vyasa Puja. For all of these festivals, then the planning actually starts quite a long time before. And in India, of course, going collecting for rice, collecting for potatoes, collecting for dal, collecting also, we went and we've been also collecting for these things and also collecting blankets in the winter time. In the October, November, December, January, February, even the nights in Navadip, they're quite chilly. And so Guru Maharaj sent myself and one other devotee we remember well, who now not in our line, unfortunately, but Guru Maharaj sent me and him on, I would say, at best, a partially successful collection campaign for blankets. And we went, where did we go? We went to Calcutta, we went to Mahatma Gandhi Road, and anybody who goes buying things to bring back to the West, you know, the things like dhotis and saris and things like that, they generally end up in Mahatma Gandhi Road in Calcutta. And basically every shop sells blankets, chaddars, saris, dhotis. I mean, it's that part of Calcutta which is like that. And we did have a hard time. We did collect some blankets and warm weather things for devotees.
As a donation, Maharaj.
As donations, yes. But the Indian shopkeepers were not as forthcoming as we might have hoped, could be my expression. Or we were not as pure in heart to draw savor from them as we should have been. Hare Krishna. But where we were successful, by the way, was in Singapore. And Singapore, then we were doing collections and going month by month, we'd go once a month at one time to Singapore in the 1980s. And then one man, he gave 2 bales, which like cubic meters, 2 cubic meters of warm weather things. And that's from Singapore. And he donated this, he arranged the shipping, it all came. It came to Calcutta, and then it came with the invoice. This is a donation to Chaitanya Saraswat Math. But the customs, of course, could not believe it was that it was genuine. And the customs want to put like all this tax on it. I mean, so much in a meter, cubic meter, there's quite a lot of things. And anyway, they wanted to put all this tax, and it has come from Singapore, which is a very famous business place. And then, bless his heart, it's already blessed, Tirtha Maharaj, he intervened, and Tirtha Maharaj went to the customs place. And then all the junior customs officers, they're not interested. And then Tirtha Maharaj, he makes his way and gets to see the head customs officer at the Calcutta port. And there he explains, and he's Tirtha Maharaj in his outfit and everything, and he explains, actually he was Prapanna Krishna Brahmachari at that time. He was not Tirtha Maharaj, but he's in his Brahmachari cloth and everything. And anyhow, the head of the customs, then he softened up, and then he came, and Tirtha Maharaj says, you come and meet our Guru, come to our place. And he came to Dum Dum Park. And that time, it was a very simple broken down bungalow, almost broken down, leaking roof bungalow, we can say. And he came to Dum Dum Park and met Gurudev. And then he's convinced, and he let through the donation without any customs. And in due course, within a few months, he became Gurudev's disciple. And he remained his disciple. He was helpful all the way through. And then I did meet him. We had contact with him all the way through. And I did meet him after Srila Gurudev's disappearance to see if he could give some legal help for some of the difficulties that Navadip was facing. And by that time, he was quite well retired. And he gave his good wishes, but said really that nothing that he could do with his contacts. He said, now I'm retired, who will listen to me? And you see, he was the head of customs. And then we also saw in his later years how, you know, you couldn't guess what he had been in his former time. And this is the nature of this world: birth, death, old age, disease, listed in the scripture. Hare Krishna. So preparing for festivals is always a little nerve-wracking, but we've got to keep, especially Gurudev, on our head for this, because Gurudev, he prepared for the festivals in the time of Guru Maharaj since a long time ago. He made arrangements for the festivals, and in his humility, then he brought in Guru Maharaj's godbrothers with Guru Maharaj's permission, you know, to give assistance for the festival, so that there were some dignified preachers. And although Gurudev himself was completely competent to preach, then he was young, and we see his competence to preach in his compositions, which have been included in the Gaudiya Darshan magazine. And very early on, Srila Govinda Maharaj composing like wonderful, spot-on compositions. And when you see the date of some of those, he was only 2 years under the lotus feet of Guru Maharaj, like within a very short time. And then by such things, we can understand that Gurudev coming to the mission wasn't coming from nowhere. It's his continuation, or it's his service. It's his continued service to Guru Maharaj. And so this way we also can get some glimpse into the reality of what is spiritual life. It is not bodily limited. And so Gurudev was very capable to preach, but in order to have influence on the public, then he brought in, by Guru Maharaj's permission, he invited in then senior godbrothers, or godbrothers of Guru Maharaj, who were already, you know, in sannyas and presentable as like older devotees that the public consider very often, unfortunately, that only somebody who's old can be a sadhu. And this Gurudev faced actually even when Guru Maharaj passed away, because the world was accustomed to having Srila Prabhupada, who was aged. You can say Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who devotees remember in his aged age. That's how we generally identify Srila Saraswati Thakur. And then, of course, Srila Guru Maharaj was aged, quite aged. And so Srila Gurudev was in his 50s when we first knew him. If in his 50s and then early 60s, I mean, naturally, this is how years pass by, isn't it? Anyhow, so he was young and sprightly. And so even in the 50s and early 60s, then Gurudev is, you know, not being sometimes honored the way that if he had at that time been like 80 or something, people would be, yeah, so you're an old, wise sadhu. But there can be young, wise sadhus too, including Shukadev Goswami, the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, by the way. Anyhow, Gurudev organized the parikramas in Navadip, and he organized those parikramas under the eye of Guru Maharaj, so under his guidance, and doing everything, as he said, did everything for the service and with the permission of Guru Maharaj. He arranged the South Indian tours, the Indian tours, the Vrindavan tours, the Himalayan tours, all under the watchful eye of Srila Guru Maharaj. And he had some mystic power, as Guru Maharaj noted. And really, he had not only mystic power, but very good buddhi, very good intelligence to understand how to resolve a problem. And there are always problems. Life is meant, well, should I say it's meant for problems? I'm not sure, but what is life without some problems? The
Back
problems,
to adjustment, Maharaj.
back to adjustment, right? Seeing the problems as a way of going forwards, crossing a problem and going forwards. And these problems come in, you can say, management of situations, of management of accommodation, of fooding, of so many things. But these problems are external and also internal. And we have to cross all of these external and internal problems that come to face us. Not to be cowed down, in the words of Guru Maharaj. We shall not be cowed down, but we shall face everything, but in Krishna consciousness. And with respect to the devotees, this theme. Every devotee is a gem. Devotees, sometimes we think, oh, devotees are made, but actually the jiva is a devotee. There was some expression somewhere was used that diamonds are not made, they are uncovered. So you can't go and make a diamond, though I'm sure somebody somewhere is trying to make a diamond. But anyway, you can't go and make a diamond, but you can discover a diamond, you can uncover it. So every devotee is a diamond, and every person is a diamond, really. But for Krishna's purpose, then sometimes some of the diamonds are shining the light of Krishna in a particular way, where we have to adjust to how that light is shining, in the sense of Krishna sends some of his diamonds as demons. Let's be frank about it. Asura, this word asura is often added to the end of names of the asuras, Dhenukasura. I mean, his name was Dhenuk, but Dhenukasura, just like we will say somebody Prabhu, well, their title is Asura instead of Prabhu. But still, Krishna is in his heart, and bless his 4 hooves, Dhenuka, who was a donkey, for those of you who are not maybe sure who Dhenuka was. I mean, he just came to mind, I don't know why, but bless his all 4 hooves. He's inside, there is that diamond of bhakti, of a devotee inside. But Krishna has his ways of revealing those diamonds. Hare Krishna, Krishna and Balaram also. And how do Krishna and Balaram reveal their diamonds? The devotee part of the demons in Kali Yuga, not by throwing them into trees, not by sticking a red hot fist down their throat, not by killing them, chopping off their head with his hand, only by Harinam Sankirtan. This is how Mahaprabhu delivered everyone, through the holy name. That was his weapon. Weapon was the holy name and his associates. Associates melted Mahaprabhu's the heart to be merciful and to the devotees through the associates, headed by Nityananda Prabhu.
And Haridas.
And Haridas Thakur. And Advaita Acharya. And, okay, well, Adi, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And Adi means headed by these personalities plus so many others. You can say etc. in a way, but etc. with headed by added. So when we say Srivas Adi, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, it's Srivas Thakur heading etc. all the other Gaura Bhakta Vrindas, all the other section of Mahaprabhu's devotees. Hare Krishna. But we are living in the part of the world where devotees seem to be rare, and the non-devotees, to be polite, seem to be the vast majority. Whereas when we're in Vrindavan, when we're in Navadip, when we're in Jaipur, when we're in Puri, devotees are the majority. Everybody's got some faith in God. And generally, Krishna-centered-ish in those three places in some form or another, but maybe a little hidden in the general public. When we see the Durga Puja and Kali Puja and this puja and that puja taking place in Bengal very enthusiastically. But still, they're God conscious. They are aware that we are not just us in the universe, that there are gods, goddesses, and of course, the supreme personality of Godhead, the supreme God, that is known in a more refined way, in a more refined, a more select section. Select means not select. Anyway, in a smaller circle. So very big circle, everybody in Navadip, we can say, is God conscious in some way. But in a smaller, so that's an extremely broad circle, everybody. And then narrowing it down, then we've got different conceptions of the Supreme Lord, the God of the God of the gods, etc. And then coming to the Gaudiya Vaishnav section, who very clear that Mahaprabhu, although he was hidden in his appearance when he came to this world, he is that Supreme Lord, Radha and Krishna combined, coming to distribute that bhakti to the world, coming to uncover very powerfully the diamond of devotion that's in everybody's heart. So Navadip, we have our very strong God, high exalted section of Gauranga conscious devotees, but we've got also general, everybody's God conscious. But here at the moment in the Western world, it does seem quite often that just to be God conscious is increasingly rare. But we will keep our thoughts with the section of the world which are sane. And Guru Maharaj's definition, or one way he described sanity, said, how will we judge who is sane? The judgment of sanity is how Krishna conscious somebody is. How much are they conscious of the Lord? How much are they a devotee? That is the standard of real sanity. Somebody can be very cool, calm, and collected in this world, but if they denying the Lord or only have a little understanding, then with only a little consciousness of the Lord, only really a little sanity. And if no consciousness of the Lord, however presentable they may be, then no real sanity. It's just insane. Insane, not sensible at all. To have a human life and not pursue the search for reality, the search for the origin of all the beauty, all the wonder, all the qualities in the physical world, which are amazing, that enable us to talk over the internet, for instance. It's all by manipulating the qualities in atoms of this world. The silicon chip, it's made of silica, which is this, that, and the other. It's the qualities which are in the nature. If we look at anything in nature, then it is amazing, more amazing, more amazing. And so where does all this amazement come from? It's come from somebody rather super amazing. His name is God, okay, but his name is Krishna, as well as Narayan and Vishnu and so many that are given in the Sahasra Nam of Lord Vishnu, Sri Vishnu Sahasra Nam, 1,000 names of Vishnu. And yesterday or the day before yesterday, then we sang here the 120 names of Krishna, as sung by Mahaprabhu. But Krishna, Govinda, Gopala, he is who we are searching for. And The Vaishnavas are those who have their faith there, who are engaged in that search, and who have that hankering in their heart to be with Krishna, to serve Krishna, to be with Krishna's devotees, to serve Krishna's devotees, to share topics about Krishna. And this is really the very function, the very necessity, the very value of the festivals, the gatherings, etc. And so Gurudev, he was the master of, Gurudev was the master of everything, but he was the master of management, if we want to say, like in a physical sense. But really, he was the master of managing the devotees. Means, what does that mean? The master of harmonizing everybody, the master of letting everybody understand the unity within the different viewpoints of devotees, the different natures of devotees. And so all kinds of people from the I don't know from the different extremes of society, let's not describe the extremes of society, but from different extremes of society, they all came together harmoniously at Gurudev's lotus feet. And in that regard, then Gurudev also saying about, and after death, for the ordinary persons, the persons who haven't really developed their Krishna consciousness, haven't got their connection, then after death, then the king and the rickshaw driver are sitting side by side on the branch of a tree as their bodies are being cremated. And they're looking at each other and saying, well, we're in the same boat now, aren't we? Without our bodies, we're just us. We're sitting on the branch of the tree. What's going to happen next? So we mustn't be, and I think everybody here is not in that category. We mustn't be shelterless at any time, but we mustn't be shelterless, being aware of that time when we won't have the shelter of all the things which we take shelter of in this world. And so the only thing to take shelter of which is lasting and substantial is the devotees, Vaishnava Guru Krishna, Vaishnava Guru Gauranga is our actual shelter. So let us keep our head there, be sheltered in this life, serve in this life, and then we'll continue our life onwards. But in a very similar way, devotees came from all over the world, leaving there. Some have big homes, some have more than, some have several homes, some have no home. All departments of society would come to Guru Maharaj, like the king and the rickshaw driver. They're all sitting in front of Gurudev, and all are equal. Gurudev giving equal attention to all, equal guidance to all. All have got that guidance. And so within that category, from king to rickshaw driver, we're all in there somewhere. We hope. I'm lower than a rickshaw driver. Oh, okay. Anyhow, Gurudev used that example because, in Navadip it's quite clear that's not a very dignified post in society unless you can be a rickshaw driver for the devotees. And how about unless you can be a rickshaw driver for the devotees and do it for free as devotional service for the devotees and not charge them 4 times as much as you will charge others.
Amahatma Sudurlabha.
Very, very rare.
Dear Maharaj, in the chat, there is a question from Priyanana. It says,
you better,
how did
you better read it because I don't see it. Yeah.
How did Srila Gurudev did that? Harmonizing different people.
Because Gurudev spoke to everybody's inner heart and was really genuinely concerned for everyone. And this way, he was personal with everyone, not impersonal. Everybody felt that he's speaking to him, that they're their dearest to him like this. And it is, again, not something that we get. I think it is something which is the nature, Gurudev's actually pure Vaishnava nature, to care for everyone, just as Krishna does, just as Mahaprabhu does. So the Vaishnavas do. Hare Krishna. He genuinely cared. This is the fact. And in disputes, he genuinely cared for both sides, both who are having some disturbance with each other. He wants the best for all, not a party man. He's Guru Maharaj's party. That's the main thing. And so what's Gurudev doing? Also keeping us Guru Maharaj centered. What's every class, every lecture, everything that comes up, it's Guru Maharaj centered. And he's wanting us all to serve Guru Maharaj. And how to serve Guru Maharaj? Then he knows he's that intermediary. He's that person he's receiving service and passing that on to Guru Maharaj. And for himself, he had nothing. And humbly he'd say, and for myself, a little petrol for my car. But even that, what petrol for the car? He's using the car for service. He said, that's all I need, a little petrol for my car. Hare Krishna. With petrol, you can't really offer it to Krishna and then give it to the car. But with petrol, like with other forms of energy, we can utilize that in the service of Krishna. Anyway, yes, harmonizing with the environment. And yes, don't make offense to the devotees. See the devotee everywhere and see anything else about the devotee on the side, not on the front. Not in the foreground, but on the side ground. Or don't even notice at all. That's the best one. As foam and bubbles naturally appear, and mud naturally appear in the water of the Ganges, the Vaishnava similarly may have so many other naturally appearing in the material world, some other qualities, but that does not detract from either the purity of the Ganges water, the purity of the Vaishnava, or the purifying capacity of the Ganges water and the purifying capacity of the Vaishnavas. So all Vaishnavas are ambassadors of that purity. They are carrying that purifying capacity by being connected in service to the purifying, who are connected in service this way. This is our parampara. Okay, I joined late. I mustn't go on talking late, must I? But really, this morning I thought actually we're going to be internet free. 3 internets not working. Should I take that as a sign? No. I was thinking I should. But then came here. Hare Krishna. And they all have auspicious names. One of them is called Prabhu, one of them is called Giriraj, and one of them is called Govinda. The 3 internets not working. And the one that is working is, what a name. It's impersonal. It's called TM-311537. Like this. The impersonal internet worked. And the personal
I think it's needed initiation and a proper name, Maharaj. So here's the sign.
Oh, it's calling for attention. Okay, just see. Dear devotees, good to be with you all. And I'm just flicking through. I'm on the small screen, so I'm just running through who is with us and happily seeing all of the devotees with us. And I didn't see the chat box, but I know there is one there somewhere if I click on it. Oh, there are more chats, but how do I see the chat box? Okay, anyway, I better go, but let's have a quick look in the chat box. I think Praneshri already has her eyes on it. Okay, yes. So the chat.
After that, Priyanana said the personal was used.
Yes.
The person.
I'm asking question mark because I couldn't understand the personal was used. I thought it was the personal connection.
No, it's the impersonal one. It's the one without a proper
name.
Yeah. Anyhow, dear devotees, please have a good few days in service. Please keep hearing and remembering from Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj. Please keep hearing and remembering from Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Please keep hearing and remembering from Srila Prabhupada, from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, from whatever book it is that you're reading at the moment of Gurudev and of Guru Maharaj, and make your life successful, and not to forget everything else like Upadeshamritam, Shikshastakam, chanting Hare Krishna, serving the devotees, offering your food. Make your life successful 25 hours a day, then no problem will come to you.
Jai Shri Bhakti Raja Matsur Maharaj Ki Jai.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And happily able to join with you all this morning. Dandavats from far and wide. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much, Maharaj. Thank you.
Ashti.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful.